Honorable the Vice President of India, Mr. Hamid Ansari, Honorable the Chief Minister of Odisha, Mr. Naveen Patnaik, all other dignitaries present, both on the dais and off the dais, my brothers and sisters, Odisha, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. I am indeed very thankful to the Biju Patnaik Birth Centenary Celebration Committee, its convener, Mr. Satpathy, and all of the members of the committee, and the Odia Associations of Delhi and the National Capital Region to have given me this opportunity to speak to you on this occasion. Presumably, this opportunity has been given to me because I was associated with Biju as his lawyer for long 20 years, from 1974 to 1994, when I was elevated to the bench. Within the limited time available to me today, I will highlight three qualities of Biju, which I noticed during my close association with him as his lawyer. The first quality, a great quality of Biju, was his immense love for the state of Odisha. You've heard many speakers already speaking to you about how intensely he loved Odisha. But let me tell you from my own experience and questions. When I took up his cases in 1974, I found that he had established a large number of industries. To name a few, Kalinga Tubes Limited, Kalinga Industries, Kalinga Svenska. He had also gone into mining, B. Patnaik Mines Private Limited. He had established, as you all know, the Kalinga Airlines, which was very efficient in its operation. But all this has started in 1950s. In the 1960s, he lost interest in all this business. The businesses were closed, some went to liquidation. And during my career from 1974 to 1994, I was defending him and his family members in all these cases which are pending in the court on account of the close of the business. I used to wonder why such a successful businessman should suddenly lose interest in his business and take to politics. In 1961, when he came to power for the first time as Chief Minister, he delivered a speech which I read much later from the Khanna Commission report. And in his speech he said, he addressed this speech to all the officers of the state administration as soon as he assumed power. He said, "Be loyal not to me, be loyal not to my party, be loyal not to my government, but be loyal entirely to the destinies of the state of Odisha." Then I understood that Biju's first love was not business or wealth or money. His first love was the state of Odisha. The next quality in Biju which I noticed during my close association was the extraordinary compassion for the poor and the courage he mustered all the time to speak for the poor. And this I noticed in a speech that he delivered when he was the Chief Minister the second time in 1990s on a public platform. He was very concerned as to why so much of money was being spent on High Court judges in their salaries, in their expenses, in their establishment. In a poor country like India, where there are so many people who required funds to just survive. And in his humor, he said, High Court judges are like white elephants of Siam, which were very difficult to maintain. And I wonder as to why, in a democracy like India, where there are so many poor people, so much of money should be spent on High Court judges. The local newspapers promptly reported this speech of Mr. Biju Patnaik from the public platform, and the High Court issued notices to him to show cause as to why contempt proceedings will not be initiated against him. Mr. Biju Patnaik sent the notice to me and said, please defend me. And my defense before the High Court was that this statement I gave as a citizen of India in a democracy who is entitled to speak with freedom even against the most expensive system of justice delivery. The High Court listened to me. They wanted to safeguard the freedom of speech and expression and drop the contempt proceedings. The point I am making is, in this he was prepared to speak out that the expenses should be more, the public treasury should devote itself more to the poor than to maintaining High Court judgment. But what risk? At the risk of contempt. This was Mr. Biju Patnaik. The third quality which I noticed in Biju Babu was that he was a natural leader. And as a leader, he was prepared to stand by his followers and stand by his subordinates and take responsibility for his decision, come what may. The example was, when he was the Chief Minister in 1990, he took a decision on behalf of the government to renew the leases, mining leases of Tatas, with the condition that Tatas will purchase the Bamlipal project of charge chrome from the mining corporation. That decision of Biju was challenged in the court in a PIL, public interest litigation. And I was asked to defend Biju because he was impeded also personally because of allegations of malafide. The only instruction Biju gave me is, you may write whatever you want in your affidavit, but please do say that decision is mine and mine alone, and the officers of the mining corporation and the state government cannot be made to blame on this account. I wrote down his affidavit, incorporated one paragraph on this about what Mr. Biju Patnaik felt, that the decision of his own, and the mining officers, mining corporation officers and the state government officers are not to be blamed. That paragraph was quoted by the High Court in the judgment, and the High Court ultimately dismissed that public interest litigation. So, my brothers and sisters of Odisha, I end with these words that Biju Babu was a man who loved the state of Odisha, who had compassion for the poor and had the courage to speak out for them and work for them, and who was a natural leader, ever willing to stand by his followers and also his subordinates in administration. Thank you all.